Oh, there's this event. It's called a milk. Would you like to go to a goat milking event with me?
No.
저랑 젖자러 같이 가실래요?
Sunday fam, welcome back to another video. We're catching up with Jirisan episode 3 and 4, and things are shaking up in this drama.
Yeah, so legend has it that the mountain serves as a parallel path or parallel worlds of different worlds. Yes. I don't know how many times I can say worlds. This bell is rung and then the ghost world opens, or the pathway to ghosts appear, or something
It's like
that.
the witching hour. It's like the witching hour in our folklore, where like as soon as the clock strikes 3, all of the souls of the dead arise and the zombies come out and all of your worst nightmares come true. And it seems like this is what they're going for in terms of an explanation thus far for how Hyunjo is the hooded figure while he's still in a coma.
Well, he did get a warning from that little child after they broke up a shamanistic ritual in the mountains that he was destined to roam as a ghost even if he died. He stay on the mountain even if he died, and that kind of solves the mystery that we had in the last video, right? It's actually him, even though he's in a coma, but he's projecting his soul or something is trapped in the mountain.
Yeah, and Yigang and the younger ranger start to see the marks that the partisans leave on the mountain. They saw on the camera, it was moving sticks by itself like a ghostly poltergeist. Hyunjo, through, I guess, the parallel world, is moving these sticks. I guess warning Yigang of the future deaths that are going to happen on the mountain.
Yeah, pieces are starting to fit together, right? Because we're getting these flashbacks back to 2018 and into the present, where Yigang is like on her wheelchair, but she's noticing all of these signs and markers. Those are the markers that herself and Hyunjo were putting together to give signals to each other.
We get to the chief of the Rangers, and I think the show is doing a rather purposeful job in painting him in such a suspicious light. You know, he's got the ribbons in his desk. He's got the days off where people are seemingly missing.
Yep.
Everything is lining up where they're painting him as the antagonist or the foil to our characters. But then there's another person that they're introducing in episode 4. There's this mysterious figure that was chasing Private Jason through the mountain.
Private Jason.
And he's got scars on his hand. And towards the end of episode 4, during a town hall meeting, Yigang finally notices him at the meeting, and they exchange looks, and he smiles, and I don't know what's up with that dude. You know, seemingly he's responsible for a lot of things that are happening on the mountain, including putting potato bombs on the mountain, where a guy is just like, what is this? Tosses it and then like explodes in his face.
Well, there's no way that you could tell. I mean, you saw the scene while we were watching this. It was like, hey, that looks like a bomb, and indeed it was.
Yes.
You know, blows the guy up, causes this crazy sequence of events where the family puts on some sort of show. Well, not show, because they're mourning for the loss of their loved one.
They're looking for someone to be responsible.
But it was in protest. Someone has to be responsible. The chief of the Ranger Society, whatever,
the director,
whatever the director chooses to resign. But then the thing that I'm really wondering, because there's some supernatural forces at hand here, and then there's also this murderer that's wandering the mountain, like causing all of these deaths to happen, handing out yogurt drinks to poison them and send them down to their paths to die. I don't know what the connection is between the supernatural and the actual physicality or the physical portion of this murderer. I think they're doing a really good job of positioning the chief as somebody that could be also part of this. I don't know, but I don't think that it's only one person. I think that there are more people involved.
Yeah, and I don't think that the evil in this series or this drama per se is the supernatural. I think the supernatural energy of the mountain is acting as a counter or is acting as a defense.
Right.
And Hyunjo being enabled to travel that parallel world and send these warning signals with these signs or these markers is the mountain's way of saying, hey, there's actual physical people trying to do evil on this mountain.
He's the one helping
help us
too.
out.
Yeah. He's projecting himself, or like they're seeing the ghost of a ranger in the mountain as the townspeople are starting to gossip. The one is finding all of these markings herself too, and it's really Hyunjo warning her and sending her these signals that there's danger ahead.
I think that's what this series is going to come down to. I think the evil of this series is humans, you know, just these evil people, and the mountain, even though it's presenting as a supernatural kind of like horror type of like aesthetic. I don't think the mountain itself is responsible for any evil that's happening. I think the mountain is enabling Hyunjo to warn people and is acting as a counter for the chief and now this 5-scar hand dude. And I think this line of thought connects with how Hyunjo actually started to see these like potential deaths or like these imminent deaths.
It started back then when he used to be a military sergeant. You know, he was in charge of a group doing a patrol on the mountain, and one of his privates go missing, and then he dies, and then he somehow, some way, kind of stumbles on these rocks and has some sort of accident himself. And that's when his visions start to manifest, and all of a sudden he's got these feelings of people and premonitions and visions of bad things that are going to happen, and he finds out the next day from either a news report or a news story, and so he decides to be a ranger, and that's why he's there.
I think as the mountain is acting as a supernatural conduit for Hyunjo to do all of these things and to counter the evil that's being done, I think that the chief or that guy, either or between the two, they're involved in Hyunjo's accident back then.
Perhaps,
with his military.
Maybe. Yeah, potentially, because we also find out that young son, who is also a ranger, might have a brother because of that photo from her father's house or her grandfather's house
I think,
that
yeah.
had collected some old potato bombs. And so there is a connection between them. There is some sort of connection. I think there's something that happened in the past where families really just has this connection with the mountain, and they don't want people visiting, or they just think the mountain should be left alone. So they have some sort of messed up plan to like scare people away from the mountain and even blame the rangers so that they close it down or something to that effect.
All I know is that everything is connected, with Hyunjo being the one to use the supernatural side of the mountain to warn people, to the chief, to that brother who is leaving potato bombs. They're all connected in some way, shape, or form with Hyunjo's past that makes Hyunjo a key person in this kind of overarching case of Jirisan.
Well, in any case, that is it for us, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hit that like, subscribe if you haven't already, tap that bell so you know when we post new videos. Happy Halloween, and hope you're safe. We'll see you next time.
It's time to milk some goats.
Let's go milk some goats.